Greetings, friend. I'll show you the top 3 choices you have to make when solving this Sudoku, and which choice is the best if you want to solve puzzles like this much faster. Click below if you want to give this puzzle a go, and with that, it's solving time. Let's start here with the 3s because I see some immediate solving. You got these 2 3s in rows 7 and 8, and this 3 in column 2. The only place left for a 3 in block 7 is right there. Then you might see with this 3 coming up column 9 and this 3 cutting across the row, there's only 2 places for a 3 here in block 6. So these 3s act as a pointing pair. Since the 3s are restricted in block 6 to row 5, they can't be anywhere else outside of the block in that row. If you try to put a 3 here or here, you'd have no place to put a 3 in block 6. And since you already have a 3 here and here, you couldn't put it in those spots either. So the only place now to put a 3 in block 5 is right here. All right, and then after doing these 2 3s, you can solve for 3 up here in block 2. And then with this 3, solve 3 in block 1. Then you have 2 places left for 3 here in block 3 and in block 6. I want to thank Prasanna Seshadri for giving me this championship puzzle from 2014 because it's the perfect puzzle to highlight the decision you have to make with any Sudoku, and which of the 3 choices I'm going to show you is the best if you want to solve Sudoku faster. Let's move on to the 4s here. You might see with these 2 4s and this 4, you can solve for 4 in block 7, and then with this 4 and this 4, you can solve for 4 in block 8. And that leaves us with 4s here in block 3, and it looks like 4s in block 6. They're not quite the same spot as the 3s were. We'll get back to that. How about the 5s? You'll see here that with this 5, you have a pointing pair of 5s here in block 9. And so the 5s will be restricted to these 3 spots up here in block 3, okay? And then with this 5 and this 5, you have a pointing pair of 5s right here in block 5. And you can't solve any of those 5s yet in block 4. We'll kind of remember that, and we'll move on to the 6s. All right. Okay, with the 6s here, now what you want to see is with this 6 coming up, column 4, you actually have a pointing triple. This is crazy. A pointing triple of 6s in block 2. And with this 6, you can now solve for 6 here in block 8. And with these 2 6s, you can solve for 6 right here. So this pointing triple, it was extending the solve for us, right? Making just an easier version of cross-hatching there for you. And then you would have 2 places for a 6 here in block 1, in block 4, and in block 3 right now. Okay, how about these 7s? I don't see any solves with the 7s right away. And yeah, I looked at the 1s and the 2s already, didn't see anything there either. But if we move on to the 8s, we're going to have a lot more action. All right, with these 3 8s, there's only one place for an 8 in block 3. And then with these 2 8s, you can solve for an 8 in block 2. Awesome. And then now with this 8 and the 8 down here in row 9, you can solve for an 8 in block 8 right there. With these 2 8s and this 8, you can solve for an 8 in block 5, and you can solve for an 8 here in block 4. And then with these 2 8s and this 8, you can finish up the 8s in block 7. That's all the 8s. Well, with the 9s, we're not going to be able to do any solving yet with the 9s. And so I haven't made any marks in the puzzle yet, and you might get a little stuck here if you're solving without marks. I went through all the digits and I ran out of all the easy solves, and so you have 3 choices to make. If you make the wrong choice right now, it's going to slow down your momentum significantly. If you make the right choice, however, you will solve this puzzle much quicker. So I'm going to go through the 3 choices with you. First, we could go through all of the digits again and see if there's any other solves that we could get. Second, we could switch strategies. We can go from cross-hatching to something like looking for naked singles or looking for pairs or triples. Or third, we could start marking up this puzzle to find the restrictions that way. And before I show you the best choice for this puzzle, I want to hear from you. What do you do when you get stuck and you're solving without marks? Do you go through the digits again? Do you switch strategies, or you just start marking up the puzzle? Please, please, please drop it in the comments. Share this with the other viewers. Help me grow the best Sudoku community on YouTube. I'll respond to your comment, and you're going to help other viewers by doing that. Okay, if you switch strategy and start looking for naked singles, you could look here in column 6, and I would advise looking at the heavy houses. Those are the rows, columns, or blocks that have 5 or more digits filled out. You might notice you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 9. All you need left is a 5 and a 7. And so if you look right here and see that this is a 5, you could notice this is a naked single 7. You'd be able to solve that, and you can solve this for a 5. And that's one way to go. The issue with switching to naked singles is that there's a cognitive cost. You're switching your brain from looking and concentrating at one digit at a time to figuring out one cell at a time. And so you got to consider multiple digits when you're doing that. It slows you down a little bit. Cross-hatching is still the fastest way to solve cells. You could start marking up this puzzle. You know, you can notice with the 9s here that you have 2 places for a 9 in block 7 and start looking for restrictions that way. The issue with marking is every mark you make, you got to undo somehow, right? So you're going to add a lot more time doing that. It's going to be a little slower. And if you're doing paper and pencil solving, the more marks you make, the more erasing you have to make. It's just harder to look through that. In a puzzle like this, what I would recommend is you go through the digits again. And the idea is you're going to extend the solve, extend the cross-hatching. You're going to use those pointy pairs, those claiming pairs, and those hidden pairs. They act as an extension. What I mean by that is now you can use those strategies without adding too much cognitive load on your brain, but still giving you more restriction because you kind of know a little bit more information about the cells you're looking at. And it's just easier to focus on one digit at a time. The reason I choose this in this puzzle is I'll say if you go through the digits and you made some solves, you probably created more restrictions. So it's worth going through again and seeing what else you can solve. So let's look right here at this cell. And this is actually the cell that's on the thumbnail. Why would I start here? Because you can do some simple pointing pairs to solve for the cell. Like if you went through 9s and went back through the 1s, you might notice with this one and this one, you have a pointing pair of 1s right here in block 5. And since there's a pointing pair right there, the 1s can't be here, you can actually solve this cell pretty quickly for a 1. All right, and that's going to help you get back on your Sudoku journey there. And now, as we get to solving for the 1 done, you can look at the 5s. You might see with this 5 that you have a pointing pair of 5s right here. And so the 5's got to be in one of these 2 spots, and you have a 5 right there. We can actually solve this cell now for a 5. And what I recommend is, if possible, if you see a full house like this, so a house that has 8 of the digits filled out, just fill out the 9th digit there. So that's going to be a 9. Reason being is you don't want to have to backtrack just to solve that particular cell, and the cognitive load of just adding a full house is much easier than other types of naked singles. But we can stay with the 5s here, and you notice now with this 5 coming up, you have a pointing pair of 5s here, and with this 5, you can solve for the 5 right there using pointing pairs, similar to how you would have solved the 5 and 7 here using the naked singles. All right, and so now we've made a couple more solves here, and we're going to just kind of look somewhere else and see if we can get an easier cognitive load on us. All right, let's look at the 6s now. You remember I said there's going to be 2 6s there, so I kind of know with these 2 6s, you're going to be able to solve for 6 because we placed that 8 there. And then the 6 and this 6, you can solve for a 6 here, and now where can you also go with these 6? With this 6 and these 2 6s, you can solve for a 6 right there, and then with this 6, you could finish up the 6s in the puzzle. Now look at the 4s. You got these 2 4s and this 4. You can solve for a 4 in block 3. And then with these 2 4s and this 4, just follow it down to the next available block. Yep, we can solve for a 4 right there. And then you'll notice with these 2 4s, we actually already solved for a 4 right there. So we've knocked out all the 4s in the puzzle. Okay, so we're just cross-hatching by extension. Now we can check out the 5s here. With this 5, since you added a 6, now we can actually solve this for a 5. Okay, and now by doing that, you can look here in column 1. You'll notice there's only 2 cells remaining. Well, this 5, by looking through, say, oh, the 5 can't be there. You can actually solve this cell now for your 5, and then finish up column 1 with a 9. And now stick with the 9s here. with these 2 9s, you can solve for a 9 right there very quickly. Very quickly solve for a 9 right here in block 8. And then you come up and you can solve for a 9 right there. All right. And now with these 2 9s, solve for 9 right there, easing the cognitive load with these 2 9s, finish up the 9s right there. So we left one full house down here in block 8. So I'll go, okay, that has to be a 7. So what can we do with these 7s? These 2 7s and this 7, solve for 7 right here. And then with this 7, solve for 7 in block 6. And then you'll see that 2 places for a 7 here, here, and here. So can't quite solve all the 7s. However, we can get there if we just notice with these 2s that you can put a 2 right there. Now that's going to be your 7. And now you can finish up those 7s. See how that works? All right. And you want to look, it's like, did I create a spot where we can do some more easy solving? Yeah, sure. Look at these 3s. So in one place for a 3 here in block 6, and then with this 3, solve for a 3 here in block 3. Awesome. And now look at, you got a 1 and a 5 right there. And you got 1 and 5 right here. Well, this 5 is going to help you out because that's got to be your 5 by cross-hatching, which puts a 5 right there. Awesome. And then with these 2 5s and this 5, we solve for a 5 right here, and we knocked out all the 5s. Left this as a nice full house, so there's your 1. And you see how you just kind of work those full houses and work the cross-hatching, and we're just going to continue to make more progress in the puzzle, and it makes for quicker solves. So I'm just focusing on the single digits. Those are all the 1s, and those are all the 1s. Awesome. Now I can pick this as a 2. You can put a 2 here, 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 and we know the last digit has to be a 2. Now challenge yourself to make the right solving choices as you go through this next puzzle. Thank you so much for watching.